What's up guys, it's Rob with Black Hill Woodwork, and in today's video we're going to be making a vase out of this. So right here we got some white birch. I actually got it from the store. It's firewood, kiln dried so it won't distort, which is what I'm looking for. Pretty big piece. I didn't measure it, but it's definitely over a foot long. Weighs a pretty good amount, but I've turned this before. It has some nice grain in it, so it should make it a nice vase. I'm going to be using a face plate because I think it's the most secure connection. Plus, I think it's the easiest as well. You don't have to go and make a tenon or a recess. Just put a face plate on, screw some screws in, and you're ready to go. So here it is on the lathe. It's not running true, but it's okay. It's not a perfect cylinder, so it wasn't going to run true regardless. I probably could have attached it better, but I don't want a very big vase, so it's fine. I already tried it. I turned it on, and the lathe isn't jumping around, so it should be okay. The plan is to make a vase, probably from right here, all the way up top, and then leaving a live edge stump right here. So the base is going to be live edge, then we'll be having the actual vase, and I'm going to be adding some dye to it, some blue dyes, which are going to make it look pretty cool. So let's get started, make this vase, and then we'll put the dye on. Alright, so here's where we're at. The grain looks pretty nice. The wood is extremely hard. I mean, I know it's kiln dried, but man, this stuff is tough to cut. We just have to figure out the shape of the vase now. I like the base. Since the faceplate's on it, I'm gonna have to cut it probably around right here, so I don't cut through the screws. So let's think of a vase shape, and then we'll sand. I'm just trying to figure out if I like it or not. It gets very skinny right here, which I don't really like, but definitely can't change that now. Could change up here, make this skinnier, but I can't make that bigger. So next steps, I think I'm going to be fixing some of these cracks. I'm just going to put some CA glue and some sawdust fill those up. And then I'm gonna try to hollow it out. So that's the plan. See if it works out. Okay, filled all the cracks that I could see. Now let's hollow this thing out. Start off the hollowing process, especially on a piece like this where it's very slim and long. I'm gonna be using the Jacob's chuck. Take that center out. Then after the center is turned away, I'll be using my bowl gouge just to hollow it out even more. Let's get started. Okay, so we're finally done hollowing this thing out. It took quite a while, but we're finally done. So time to sand, 80 to 400. All right, the piece is all sanded. Now it's time to put some dye on it. So let me go bring the dye over here and get this thing colored. These are the dyes we're going to be working with. It's my first time. 3 different shades of blue. Let's see what it looks like. I'm going to start with the darker dye, then work up to the lightest one. And I'll be putting about 3 coats on. As you guys can see, I had some trouble opening the cans. I think that's the first coat done. I'll do 2 more coats and we'll see what it looks like. So this is what it looks like after 3 or 4 coats of the stain. Now I'm going to be adding some sanding sealer to it. Should darken up the piece, make it shine a little bit, and probably blend in some of the colors. Now we're gonna make the surface nice and smooth using Yorkshire grit. Alright, so what we're looking at, definitely much shinier. Looks better. And we're coming up on the last couple of steps. Now it's time for the spray lacquer. That's the finish I'm going to be using. It is pretty cold here in Maryland right now, especially in my garage. I don't have a heater. So I'm going to be applying about, I'm going to guess, at least 10 coats of spray lacquer. I'm going to spray it here and then bring it inside my house where it's nice and warm, because I know lacquer doesn't go very well with cold temperatures. So that's the next step. First coat of lacquer coming up. This is what we're using. Okay, I'm gonna bring this thing inside, add some more coats to it. Then we'll see what we're working with. All right, guys, it's been a few days and about 10 to 15 coats later of some lacquer. I think it turned out pretty good. You know, some people would just leave it how it is right now. The finish is pretty nice, but there is a way that we can make it a little bit nicer. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but it's not the smoothest surface. So to fix the finishing, or to make the finishing better, I'm gonna be using this. If you're a wood turner, I said this in a previous video, and you've never tried this, you gotta get it. Okay, we got the Yorkshire grit. Yorkshire, I'm not really sure. We're gonna be spinning at 400 RPMs, and let's see what it looks like after. All right. I'll tell you one thing, it feels like glass. I mean, it is super smooth. It looks better, it really does. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but it looks better. We're gonna sand the bottom, finish the bottom, and then we're gonna put a few coats of epoxy on the inside. Since, you know, it's a vase, it's gonna be in contact with water, and we don't wanna mess up the wood at all if it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna have water sitting inside of it for a long period of time. I don't know if you guys could see very well, but this is how I'm holding it. You know, I like this handsaw, but it's better for smaller things. For a piece like this, I'm gonna pull out the big guns. So here it is. I'm gonna sand it. I'm gonna put some epoxy in here, and then later, which I'm probably not gonna show in the video, I'm gonna finish the bottom with some lacquer. So let's do that. Mixed up a little bit of resin, a very small amount, and we're gonna apply it to the inside of the vase. We're gonna be using just a regular brush. Get in there, just swipe up. That's all you gotta do. Just make sure you coat, you know, all the sides. A very small amount. And then tomorrow I'll be doing a second coat, then maybe even a third coat if needed. I see some people on YouTube just pouring a bunch of epoxy in the inside of bowls or mugs, vases, and just like swishing it around and then pouring it out. I've done that before. I mean, you can do that, but at least in my experience, it all just builds up at the bottom, and it looks like whatever you're making has just like a little puddle of water or something at the bottom. So I like to do this method, just brushing it on, very light coats, and sand in between if you really need to. We're done with the first coat of epoxy in the inside. I had to switch over to a smaller brush. This thing was just way too big to fit all the way towards the bottom. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned for future videos. Thanks. I'm trying to show you my thumbs up, but I don't want to punch my vase.